Oh, she's not gonna use this one?
I think she is, but she wants to be.
Oh,
up
for the
here.
Torah.
Well, I think she wants to be up here the whole time, which I didn't
Well-
realize means
Oh.
that's TV screen is in the way of it.
So
No.
let's,
Dad, as long as I have something to lean on, I
lean on me, when?
You can,
What,
you could put your paper on this, Ann. When you're reading, you can put your paper on this stand.
quick suggestion,
Okay.
do you both need to be doing something at the same time, all the time, or ever?
No, I don't.
All right,
I don't, well, I don't, do we? I don't think at all.
Do you want to move the Torah to this table? Oh, that's not good for Andy. I just got to move the TV screen somewhere.
All right, because what we could do is, we could,
I could put this up there. That's what I think I would like to do.
I'll go.
Maybe.
Go ahead, keep going.
It's not going to be close enough. Maybe I get a different stand.
How's this, Marty?
Now, where was I?
Are you doing it just in practice voice, or is that your top voice?
No, that is practice voice, but my top voice is not very strong at
So
all.
if you could just practice in your top voice as if it's real for just a second so we can hear it.
ידבר אדוני משה לאמור זאת תהיה, that's not תהיה though, זאת תהיה תורת המצרים. ביום ביום טהרתו. Just read it from there right now. V'huva hakohen, v'yatza hakohen, el mahutz l'mahane, v'ra'ah hakohen, v'hine nirfa neged hatarat, min hateruah, v'tziva hakohen, Velaka, yeah, velaka, lamata, her, shtei, tifarim, hayam, taharot, my boy, I have to get water or something. Eretz, v'shnei, tala'ah. That's where I'm going to end. Tala'ah, v'shnei tala'ah. Oh gosh. Ad v'ezav. Actually, my voice is not going to project. 2 weeks ago, I went to the doctor to find out why I'm so hoarse again, still, because he had severed a nerve when he removed my thyroid, and he said I have. He said, a very sluggish left vocal cord.
Ah, okay.
And there are times I can project, there are times I can't.
We're gonna get something that's gonna put the microphone right up to your mouth.
Okay. But if I get moist enough and high enough, I can do it. V'tzi v'kohen balaka limitaher shtei tipurim hayat tahara. Stay Tzipor Road. Hayot Yara. Has the word shachot. My great-grandfather was not a shachot, but a shohet. Yeah, but this is pronounced here shachot, isn't it? Right there. B'shachat. B'shachat. Come. B'shachat tzipor echad el kli. Oh, I'm going to stop before that, yeah, okay. V'etzav, shnei Torah, v'etzav, v'etzav. If I get my voice higher, I can project more, and a voice therapist taught me that. But I have to remember to do it, to bypass that vocal cord. That's too far down, too far up.
Are you done?
Read the bear, Adonai, Moshe Lemor. So, yeah, Torah, Hamitz, Raya, Bayam,
The thing for the guitar, right?
Yeah.
Starts with 14-1. There you go. Kohen, Vayatah Kohen, El Melchut, L'Machane, Ra Kohen, V'hine, Ner Ha, Negeh HaTorah, Min HaTorah, Taruah, V'tziva Kohen, V'lakah, L'mitaher Shtei Tvarim Hayom Tehara V'eteres Shnei Torah V'ezav. My great-grandfather did not slaughter birds.
This is good.
Where's the N?
Pocket or belt?
Shabbat Shalom. V'ezav. There, that's the last word.
Okay. All right, great.
So
So I'm gonna put the scroll away, and then if you could just let me just show me
that, but at
what
least
my
it'll
part
keep
is,
you-
like what you want me to
you'll
do
know
during the
where
service,
it
if there's
is
anything
if you-
particular to read or say, or.
Yeah.
But let me put the scroll away, is that okay?
Oh, you're going to put the scroll away, then I'll be reading from there.
Correct, but we don't read the Torah scroll out during the whole service. We would take it out during the
Oh,
Torah service.
right, okay, oh, of course. And Harry and Lori are actually doing the Aliyah. Giving Harry that honor because he is in a position where he can now.
So, yeah, so is there anything in the service that you want me to do specifically, any reading to read or blessing to say or something to do, or just be up here during the Torah service and
Yeah,
you're going
be
to
up
do
here
it?
during the Torah
Okay.
service to guide me during the Kiddushah, in case I mess up on it, because this is the Reform Kiddushah. And do you have a list of mourners, a list of?
Yep, so this is the Mishaberach list. We read the names in red. This is the Kaddish list. We read all the names. There are 2 Shloshim names. And I'll just rewrite that because we don't read all those names. We read all these names. This is the yard site. This is the Shloshim. Let me just rewrite that real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, I just know how close.
That's a little farther away. Any farther away, it will be where the other old microphone was, which wasn't loud enough. So that's why I moved it closer.
No, I'm just asking how close I have to get.
Well, it's best to be, I mean, this is best. You want to try to be close.
As Beth Schaefer told our religious school students when she recorded the song, the microphone is designed to amplify whatever it picks up, but it can only amplify whatever it picks up. So as long as
Right.
it's picking something up, it'll amplify it. So loud voices are helpful. Yeah, and you have a strong voice, so you don't have to get right. This particular microphone, you don't have to get right up to it. You have a loud enough voice.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out.
Now, where am I
'cause
doing
have-
it from? Up here or down there?
Well, you said you wanted to be
Yeah,
up here.
I prefer being up here, yeah.
Then
So you
you
know
could
what?
be up here.
We can put that microphone stand here, and you could just turn the microphone back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work better for me.
Yeah, hang on a second. You take the microphone, I'll take the stand. Perfect. Nope, don't even move the thing. And then
Oh,
this
by
one.
the way, Mark, I've decided to say all the words acknowledging the caring community in one place. The first place, not at the very bottom. So, just so you're not surprised, let me tell you where it comes in.
So it's closer to. Yeah, and then.
After Wisdom and Ethics by Adrian, I'm going to acknowledge CCC contributions just before the Torah service.
Oh, that you just have to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you want up or down, that's this.
Oh, okay. I'll just. I think. And this.
And the microphone itself is also
Yeah.
possible, so.
Right. And are you doing all of the things that say leader?
Yeah. But rabbis are going to be up here to support me during the Torah service. Oh, I need somebody to lift the Torah. I cannot do that.
I can do that.
You can do that,
Yeah,
okay?
unless you want someone else, but I'm happy to do that.
Now, Adrian is going to dress and do the Ark Opening and Closing. I don't see her yet, but I think she'll be here by then. And I'm going to get some water.
Yes.
Shabbat shalom, Lori and Harry.
Just check out the testing. 1, 2. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
And then Steve will make sure that it comes over, and so it'll pick up Ann's voice.
Good morning, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to Caring Community Shabbat. I know some of you are on Zoom. We have people here in person, and I will clue in those on Zoom as to when they are to say their parts. For those people who are here in person, please come up to the microphone when you read. We'll start on page 99 with Hine Matov. Hine Matov u'manayim, sheverakim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, sheverakim gam yachad. Hine Matov, sheverakim gam yachad. Hine Matov, sheverakim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, sheverakim gam yachad. Surrounded by the members of the community in which I live, I come before you, eternal God. I share my happiness with them, and it becomes greater. I share my trouble with them, and it seems smaller. May I never be too selfish to give, nor too proud to receive. For in giving and receiving, I discover you, as I begin to discover the meaning of my life. Let me not separate myself from the true strength of my community, the experience and wisdom of old people, the hopes of the young, and the examples of care and courage which sustain me. Give me an open heart and an open mind to welcome those who need me and to receive your presence in my daily life. I think of what our community could be and the harmony that could unite us. I think of our loneliness and the friendship that could fill our lives. I think of the good that we could do if we were one in spirit. I know that this is your will and pray for your help. May I and those around me find our joy together, and thank you for the power you give us to help each other. Ki yesh meret Shabbat el yismareni. Ki yesh meret Shabbat el yismareni. Odi le'olmad ve'nu ve'ni. Odi le'olmad ve'ni. When we keep Shabbat, God keeps us. It is a sign between God and Israel forever. We continue now on page 103. Colette, would you lead us, please? Unmute. Are you there, Colette? Okay.
You hear? Can you hear?
Yes, you're fine.
Okay, I'll start over again. Each of us enters this sanctuary with a different need. Some hearts are full of gratitude and joy. They are overflowing with the happiness of love and the joy of life. They're eager to confront the day to make the world more fair. They're recovering from illness or have escaped misfortune, and we rejoice with them. Some hearts ache with sorrow. Disappointments weigh heavily upon them, and they have tasted despair. Families have been broken, loved ones lie on a bed of pain, and death has taken those whom they cherished. May our presence and sympathy bring them comfort. Some hearts are embittered. They have sought answers in vain. Ideals are mocked and betrayed. Life has lost its meaning and value. May the knowledge that we too are searching restore their hope and give them courage to believe that not all is emptiness. Some spirits hunger. They long for friendship. They crave understanding. They yearn for warmth. May we in our common need and striving gain strength from one another as we share our joys, lighten each other's burdens, and pray for the welfare of our community.
Thank you, Colette. Our service continues on the top of page 106. Kathy?
Okay, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. The soul that you have given me, O God, is pure. You created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it. So long as I have breath, therefore, I will give thanks to you, my God and the God of all ages, source of all being, loving guide of every human spirit. We praise you, O God, in whose hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'chavi bina l'chafin ben yom uvein laila. Everyone in English.
Praise be the eternal God who has implanted mind and instinct within every living being. Do you want me on mute?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shasane Yisrael. Praised be the eternal God who has made me a Jew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shasane ben Harin. Praised be the eternal God who has made me to be free. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Pokeach Ivrim. Praise be the eternal God who helps the blind to see. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Malbish Arumim. Praise be the eternal God who clothes the naked. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Matir Asurim. Praise be the eternal God who frees the captive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokeh kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei gever. Praise be the eternal God who makes firm our steps. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura. Praise be the eternal God who girds our people Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam otir Yisrael b'dvara. Praise be the eternal God who crowns Israel with glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam anotein le'ayav koah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir sheina me'anai v'tinama me'afafa. Praise be the eternal God who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids. Colette, my little word.
If any little word of mine may make a life the brighter, if any little song of mine may make a heart the lighter, God help me speak the little word and take my bit of singing and drop it in some lovely vale to set the echoes ringing. If any little love of mine may make a life the sweeter, if any little care of mine may make a friend's the fleeter, if any little lift of mine may ease the burden of another, God give me love and care and strength to help my toiling brother.
Please rise for the Reader's Kaddish. Yitkadav, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divra kirutei v'emlik malkutei, B'chayeichon uv'yomeichon, uv'chayei dekol bet Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, Uvizman Kariv, Vimaru, Amen. Yeheshmei Rabba Mavora, Leolam Lo Maya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitbarach, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yithalel, V'yithalal, Shmei Dekudas Shabrihu, Le'olam min kol v'chata v'shirata, Tushbachata b'nehemata, Damiran b'yoma, V'yimaru, Amen. Adrian will lead us in the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMvarach.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMvarach le'olam va'ed. Praised be the one to whom our praise is due, now and forever. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, Yotzer or uvorei choshech, Oseh shalom uvorei et hakol, Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim, Uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulom b'chochma asita, mala ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al ma'orei or she'asita yifa'arucha zela. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer Hamarot.
Thank you, Adrian. We continue now on page 110 with Steve reading Ahavat Rabbah.
Deep is your love for us, abiding your compassion. From of old we have put our trust in you, and you have taught us the laws of life. Be gracious now to us, that we may understand and fulfill the teachings of your word. Enlighten our eyes in your Torah, that we may cling to your mitzvot. Unite our hearts to love and revere your name. We trust in you and rejoice in your saving power, for you are the source of our help. You have called us and drawn us near to you in faithfulness. Joyfully, we lift up our voices and proclaim our unity, O God. In love, you have called us to your service.
Thank you, Steve. Lori and Harry will lead us in the Shema and the V'ahavta, and they may step right up here. I'll get out of your way.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom ala vevecha Vishinantam levanecha, vidibartam ba'am, vishivtecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshochvecha, uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, Vehayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam ala mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai Vehitem veloshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak to them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorpost of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God. We continue now on page 113 with Mi Hamocha.
Lie, 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 lie. La 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 la. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilo osei felech, nora tehilo osei felech. Lai 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 La 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 la. Shira chadasha, shira kugulim, shim kasataya, yachad gulam hodu, behim lekuv tamarun. Adonai yimyo leolam ba'ed. Adonai yimlo leolam ba'ed. Lai 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 la 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 la.
Tzur Yisrael, Kuma Be'ezrat Yisrael, Uvdekenu Mecha, Yehuda Yisrael. Go Aleinu, Adonai Tiva'ot Shema, Kadosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Harry has an original reading, which he'll present now.
Thank you so much. So I wrote this poem in 2017, but I feel it's relevant for the current state of the world and the situation in Ukraine, the strength that is coming. We too will find our strength, like a familiar fragrance from a nearby garden. We must live in this time of unknowns, when the angel's song is rarely heard. We shall heed their call on light winds, and we shall move quietly amongst the rustle of wings. We shall shine through our days like a shaft of sunlight moving between clouds, cradled close in God's hands. Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful, Harry. We rise now for the tefillah. Adonai tifetah tifta ufia gitehiratecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rahel, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Olam, Gomel HaSadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zoher Chastei Avot V'imahot, U'mehi Gila Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Mashiach Umagen. Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mahayeh HaKol Atah, Rav L'Hoshia. Mechalkel Hayim B'Hesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim. Samech Noflim Rofei Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umakayim Emunato, Lishinei Afar, Michamocha Ba'agiverot, Umidam Elach, Melech Minik Umahayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, B'ne'eman Atah L'hayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mahayeh HaKol. Nekadesh et Shemcha ba'olam, Kashem Shemata Simato B'Shmei Marom, Kakatuv al Yad Nevi'echa, V'krazel Zev Yamar. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivaot, Melot ha'aretz, Kivodo. Adir Adonai 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 Ma'adir Shimcha B'chol ha'aretz. Baruch Kivod Adonai Mimkamo. Page 117. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, v'hu Yishme'enu, b'rachamav le'enei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai le'olam, lo ha'yitzion, le'dor v'ador. Hallelujah. We'll continue with Steve leading the Dor Vador.
Dor Vador Nagig ad lecha Netzach netzach in kiddushacha Nagdig V'shivchacha Eloheinu Mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed, olam va'ed. L'dor vador, nagig ad lecha, u'netzach netzach in kiddushacha, Nagdi V'shitchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush leolam vaed leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai
You need to unmute Kathy.
All right. One sec. All right. This is a prayer for our country. Sovereign of the universe, mercifully receive our prayer for our land and its government. Let your blessing pour out on this land and on all officials of this country who are occupied in good faith with the public needs. Instruct them from your Torah's laws. Enable them to understand your principles of justice so that peace and tranquility, happiness and freedom might never turn away from our land. Please, wise one, God of the life breath of all flesh, waken your spirit within all the inhabitants of our land and plant among the peoples of different nationalities and faiths who dwell here love and brotherhood, peace and friendship. Uproot from their hearts all hatred and enmity, all jealousy and vying for supremacy. Fulfill the yearning of all the people of our country to speak proudly in its honor. Fulfill their desire to see it become the light to all nations. Therefore, may it be your will that our land should be a blessing to all inhabitants of the globe. Cause to dwell among all the peoples friendship and freedom, and soon fulfill the vision of your prophet, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, let them learn no longer the ways of war. And let us say, Amen.
Thank you, Kathy. Yismahu, Steve.
Yismichu v'malachutcha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat B'korei Onei Shabbat Yismichu v'malachutcha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat B'korei Onei Shabbat Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shvi Shabbat, Elam Yisbu, Vitalu Vitubeka Shabbat, Yismetu V'malachutcha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat B'korei, Onei Shabbat, Yismetu V'malachutcha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat B'korei, Onei Shabbat, V'ashvi Ratzita bo V'kidasha Shabbat, Unami, O Tokorata Shabbat, Yismetu V'malachutcha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat B'korei, Onei Shabbat, Yismetu V'malachutcha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat B'korei, Onei Shabbat, Zeker L'masei B'reishit Shabbat, Zeker L'masei B'reishit Shabbat, Yismichu V'malachutcha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat B'korei, Onei Shabbat, Yismichu V'malachutcha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat B'korei, Onei Shabbat.
Our God, God of our fathers and our mothers, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our way of life. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal God. Let your holy Sabbath remain our heritage, that all Israel, hallowing your name, may find rest and peace. We praise you, O God, for the Sabbath and its holiness.
We give thanks for the freedom that is ours, and we pray for those in other lands who are persecuted and oppressed. Help them to bear their burdens and keep alive in them the love of freedom and the hope of deliverance. Uphold also the hands of our brothers and sisters in the land of Israel. Cause a new light to shine upon Zion and upon us all, that the time may come when your Torah will go forth from the house of Israel, your word from the tents of Jacob. We praise you, our God, whose presence gives life to our people, Israel. Yanisecha shebcho yom Erev aboker nitzorayim Me'olam kivinu lach, me'olam kivinu lach. Hatov kilu chalu rasamecha, Yam rachem kilu tamu misadecha. Me'olam kivinu lach, me'olam kivinu lach. Al nisecha shepolei Erev haboker mitzorayim Me'olam kivinu lach, me'olam kivinu lach. Hatov ki lo chalu rasamecha, V'ham rachem ki lo tamu lesadecha. Me'olam kivinu lach, me'olam kivinu lach. Me'olam kivinu lach, me'olam kivinu lach.
Of the House of Community, and of course the caring community is under Steve. So a great big applause and appreciation.
We gratefully acknowledge that you are our God and the God of our people, the God of all generations. You are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank you and sing your praises for our lives, which are in your hand, for our souls, which are in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. You are goodness, your mercies never end. You are compassion, your love will never fail. You have always been our hope.
shalom tova uvracha, kein b'chesed v'rachamim. Sim shalom tova uvracha, kein b'chesed v'rachamim. Let the light of your presence be the light of our life. Give us happiness, mercy, and peace. May the people of Israel join hands with the world, and our passion for justice increase. Nasim shalom tova uvracha, kein b'chesed v'rachamim. Nasim shalom tova uvracha, kein b'chesed v'rachamim. Let the light of your Torah be the light of our dream. In its goodness and its blessings and love. May our yearning for peace be a blessing for the world as the olive branch soars with the dawn. Nasim shalom tova uvracha, kein b'chesed v'rachamim. Nasim shalom tova uvracha, kein b'chesed v'rachamim. Nasim shalom tova uvracha, kein b'chesed v'rachamim. Nasim shalom tova uvracha, kein b'chesed v'rachamim.
Steve?
You live ratzon imrei fi Ve'egyon libi levanech Adonai Tzuri v'goali Adonai Tzuri v'goali Iyu leratzon imrei fi Ve'egyon libi levanecha Adonai Tzuri v'goali Adonai Tzuri v'goali May the word of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my Redeemer. You liratzon imrei fi ve'egyon libi levanecha Adonai Tzuri v'goali Adonai Tzuri v'goali May the word of my mouth, meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my Redeemer. You the baton, Imre fi, hey yoli live on Echa, Adonai Tzuri v'go ali, Adonai Tzuri v'go ali.
Nancy, please continue with Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru Amen. May the one who causes peace to reign in the high heavens cause peace to reign among us, all Israel and all the world.
Thank you. Now, Adrian will do a special reading called Wisdom and Ethics. Adrian?
Beloved of God is humanity, for all are created in the divine image. A person who brings pleasure to other human beings thereby brings delight to the Creator. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? But if I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? Say little and do much, and greet everyone with a cheerful face. Be a disciple of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace, loving your neighbors, and drawing them near to the Torah. Do not say, I shall study when I have leisure. You may never find the leisure. Do not separate yourself from the community. Judge not another until you are in that person's place. One who shames any person in public is not worthy of a share in the world to come. Who is wise? One who learns from everyone. Who is strong? One who controls the passions. Who is rich? One who rejoices in life's portion. Who is honorable? One who honors others. The world is sustained by three things: by truth, by justice, and by peace. It is not your duty to finish the work, but neither are you at liberty to neglect it.
Thank you, Adrian. Adrian is the former chair of the Caring Community, and she was my mentor for a long time, getting me going on the right path. At this time, I'd like to offer a special reading which I created for this occasion. We care when our thoughts are with another. When we pray for one's recovery, we care. We care when we stop to greet another, even though it has been a long day and we prefer the feel of silence. When we stop and listen at the most inconvenient time, we care. We care when we take the time to make one more call or write one more card to say, I am with you. When we show that we are sorry during hard times or that we share in the joy of others, we care. We care when the feelings of another become of paramount concern and we can put our own needs on hold. when we stop what we're doing and say, "Hold on there, I'm coming," we care. We care when we include another as one of us and accept our mutual differences. When we reach out and say, "Hey, it's okay, life is hard and we understand," we care. We care when our lives intertwine and we become at one with each other and with our Creator. When we come together to celebrate or mourn or support one another, we become a caring community. And of course, you'll notice the little Peanuts cartoon. To make a difference in someone's life, you don't have to be brilliant, rich, or beautiful, or perfect. You just have to care. We are here today to acknowledge and thank all those wonderful and selfless people who, as members of our caring community, have stepped up, sometimes on little notice, to make calls, send out cards, bring or prepare food for Shiva houses, attend Shiva services, provide transportation, or have otherwise have acted with kindness to those with various needs in our caring community. I refer not only to the wonderful members who are formerly on the committee and ready to jump in many capacities at any time, but those in the synagogue community at large who quietly, without being asked, keep in touch with each other in a network of caring. There is really little that distinguishes those in need of assistance and those who assist. Sometimes we feel on top of things, and sometimes we all need support and help. Those who support and those who benefit from caring community assistance are interchangeable. To be sure, our needs are covered. If you are able to write get well, sympathy, or birthday cards, make calls to other congregants, cook, attend houses of Shiva, or lead a Shiva service, provide transportation to appointments, bring meals to those in need, and so on, please contact me and let me add you to the list of helping hands. Otherwise, just continue what you do to assist others as a member of a caring, giving, and loving community. I would like to especially thank Steve Kolpas for providing overall leadership to the caring community team and providing music for us today, and all those who have led or participated in chat groups, and Adrian for mentoring me when I began. I thank you all for being here with us, either on Zoom or in person today. Plus a giant thanks to Mark Hager for all his help in organizing the audiovisual aspect of this service. We now continue with the Torah service. Page 142. Would all those who are assisting with the Torah service come up now? And kamocha ba'Elohim Adonai v'en kemasecha malchut kol amim u'memshaltecha b'kol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Adonai rise. El Haramim, Eitiva Versoncha, Et Zion, Tivnei Chomot, Yerushalayim, Tivnei Chomot, Yerushalayim. Let us declare the greatness of our God and give honor to the Torah. Gadlu Adonai iti, unaroma mashmo yachdav. Adonai hagedula, v'hagevura, v'hatiferet, v'hanetzach, v'hahod. Kicho b'shamayim u'va'aretz, Kicho b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Adonai hamamlecha, v'hanitnaseh l'chol derot. The congregation may be seated. Today we'll be reading Metzora from Leviticus 14 to 15. The word Metzora refers to a person inflicted with a disease or disorder that renders him or her impure. The disease in this case is ta'arat, a scaly skin eruption. This is not a parashah I would have chosen for carrying community Shabbat, but after examining it a little, I was able to salvage something somewhat related to caring. Metzora opens by describing the purification process for a person infected with ta'arat, a discoloration condition of the skin, and then describes the process of treating a house infected with ta'arat. Later on in the parashah, male and female bodily discharges and their treatments are addressed. A person infected by ta'arat must be diagnosed by a priest and then is required to dwell apart from the rest of the people, isolating outside the camp. After a period of time, the priest leaves the community to begin the rituals that will purify the afflicted individual. It is notable that the person in a state of impurity is not abandoned by the community, but rather temporarily isolated and then helped back to a pure or well state, so he or she can rejoin the community. The connotation here is that the body, mind, and spirit is changeable, and its status can change. An impure state can return to a pure state with the assistance of others. He, she does not remain an outsider. He is not cast out as punishment. Instead, the overall goal is restoration or rehabilitation so that the person can return in a changed state as a participant and valued member of the community. Let there be no outsiders in the TBA community. Those who need to focus elsewhere for a while should be encouraged to return. I call up Lori and Harry for an aliyah. You may follow right there.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
V'yidaber Adonai al Moshe lemor, Zo tiyeh Torah HaMitzrayim. Should I start over?
You go right for wherever you want to go.
Okay, I'll start over because I think you couldn't hear me. V'yidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, Zo tiyeh Torah HaMitzrayim. Bayam Taharata V'huva El HaKohen V'yatza HaKohen El Mihut L'maneh V'ra'ah HaKohen V'yatza HaKohen El Mihutz L'mahaneh V'yara HaKohen V'hinei Nifrapa Nega Hatarat Min Hatarua V'tiva HaKohen V'lakach L'mitaher Shtei Tiparim Hayom Tahara'at V'ein Erez Ushni Tola'at V'yezav.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Yasher koach.
Ach.
English. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought into the priest. And the priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of leprosy be healed in the leper, then shall the priest command to take for him, that is to be cleansed, 2 lively clean birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And the priest shall command to kill one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water. And we continue with the Torah service with Misha Berach. Steve.
Yeah, she's got the list.
We think today of those in our community who are in need of healing of body or soul, as we do a community prayer on their behalf. They are Bill Bly, Janet Breskman, Rhonda Cohn, Gaylord Conquest, Willa D'Souza, Irene Chaya Doniger, Barbara Foreman, Martin Fuchs, Ruth Kravitz, Stephen Matzner, Lois Miller, Jay Peck, John Rose, Bill Schneider, Jackie Studin, Belvo Ben Avraham, Colette Wake, and Pete Walsh.
And for those of you following in the prayer book, we'll be singing Misha Berach number 1, which is at or near the back of your book. Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We now continue with the Torah service, returning the Torah to the Ark. And Rabbi, we will need your help.
V'zotat Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai ve'ad Moshe. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai.
ki nizkeh shmo lavdo. Hodo haaretz v'shamayim, hayaren keren le'amo, tehillah lechol hasidav, livnei Yisrael am kirovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Adrian, God's teaching.
God's teaching is perfect, reviving the soul.
God's word is unfailing, making wise the simple.
God's precepts are right, delighting the mind.
God's mitzvah is clear, giving light to the eyes.
God's doctrine is pure, enduring forever.
God's guidance is true and altogether just.
Behold, a good doctrine has been given to you, my Torah. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are the ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace.
Tov natati lachem torati al ta'azovu etz chaim hi lamachazikim ba v'tocheha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Hadesh Hadesh Yameinu Hadesh Yameinu
We continue now with a special reading. Carol.
We cannot merely pray to God to end war, for the world was made in such a way that we must find our own path of peace within ourselves and with our neighbor. We cannot merely pray to God to root out prejudice, for we already have eyes with which to see the good in all people if we would only use them rightly. We cannot merely pray to God to end starvation, for we already have the resources with which to feed the entire world if only we would use them wisely. We cannot merely pray to God to end despair, for we already have the power to clear away slums and to give hope if we would only use our power justly. We cannot merely pray to God to end disease, for we already have great minds with which to search out cures and healings if we would only use them constructively. Therefore, we pray instead for strength, determination, and willpower, to do instead of merely to pray, to become instead of merely to wish, that our world may be safe and that our lives may be blessed.
Thank you, Carol. We continue now with the Elenu, Mark, and Rhonda.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekedu l'yotzer b'reshit, shelo osanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo osamanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sachelkeinu kahem, v'goreleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim.
יקרה בשמיים ממעל, ושכינה זו בתוכן מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Thank you. Carol will lead us in a poem by Shel Silverstein, The Little Boy and the Old Man.
Said the little boy, "Sometimes I drop my spoon." Said the old man, "I do that too." The little boy whispered, "I wet my pants." "I do that too," laughed the little old man. Said the little boy, "I often cry." The old man nodded, "So do I." "But worst of all," said the boy, "it seems grown-ups don't pay attention to me." And he felt the warmth of a wrinkled old hand. "I know what you mean," said the little old man.
Thank you, Carol. Hey, Rabbi, would you like to do the List of Mourners? Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. The people who are observing Yortzites or in the Shloshim period, the rabbi will read the list.
So this is the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Sidney Kolpas, father of Allison Kolpas, grandfather of Max Kolpas and Sam Kolpas. Also, Max Feel and Sam Feel, thank you. Robert Caton, father of Larry Caton, grandfather of Michael Caton and Sidney Caton. And the following Yortzites will be observed at some point during the coming week. This Shabbat, we remember Pauline Cohen Mackenoff, grandmother of Linda Peck, Phyllis Feinstein, grandmother of Will Frederick, great-grandmother of Raina Frederick, Esther Mann Golding, mother of Linda Kramer Kamens, Mayor Peck, grandfather of Jay Peck, Lillian Stein, grandmother of Greg Stein, Henrietta Weil, mother of Sheldon Weil, Carol Goldberg, mother of Leslie Book, Joey Shapiro, son of Matt and Lisa Shapiro, Cy Lazar, my father, husband of Beverly Lazar, Rose Leibowitz, grandmother of Ina Lentz, Mally Salzer, mother of Pete Salzer, Marilyn Smith, mother of Sue Ann Strauss, Joel Sugarman, father of Mark Sugarman.
Thank you, Rabbi. Would all those who are reciting Kaddish rise? Yikadal, Yikadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divrach Yurute, Vayamlich Malkute, V'hayechon Uv'yomechon, Uv'haye Dekol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Uv'zman Kariv, V'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam U'omei Almaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitalel V'yitalal Shmei Dekudesha Barichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbehata V'nechemata Da'amiran Be'alma V'imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mramav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru Amen. Our service will conclude with Ein Keloheinu and, of course, the Kiddush. And following that, there will be a brunch or lunch in the social hall. Do you want to lead Ein Keloheinu?
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michamoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. And before we continue with the Kiddush, I just want to interrupt for just a moment. And, you know, I wouldn't be a rabbi if I didn't. And so I just wanted to share three very quick thoughts. One is that Anne mentioned earlier that this week's Torah portion is not one that she would have picked for this week. And while far be it from me to contradict anything Anne says, some of you are well aware that this week's Torah portion, last week's Torah portion are two of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite Torah portions. And I think precisely this is the perfect Torah portion for this particular setting, because it is at one's lowest, darkest, most vulnerable moment that the idea of a caring community is so incredibly crucial. Some of you will be studying with us in a couple of weeks when my friend and colleague and teacher, not necessarily in any particular order, Rabbi Neil Gold will be joining us, and one of my favorite texts is one of his favorite texts, and I learned it from him, and it says something along the lines of, I didn't think of it until the course of the service, so I don't have it with me, but it talks about someone who has some sort of affliction, some sort of contagious, contaminating disease, and the rabbis are asked in the Talmud, what's the right way to cure this? What do you do for someone who has this? And all the rabbis agree there's not necessarily a cure. One rabbi says, I would take this and these ingredients, and it almost sounds like a double bubble, boil and trouble, and all these things, and two wings of this, and the final rabbi says, I would sit with that person, hold their hand, and study Torah. And the idea of embracing that person and including that person is exactly what's necessary, especially when someone's ailment is even towards the end, or whether it's an ailment or a mourning period or something, we often kind of forget about people. That's just a human thing, and we kind of let them fade off, and we don't realize that people need caring in all sorts of ways at all sorts of times. And one of the most important things about the idea of that caring community is also the modeling of behavior. This is the third thing now I want to share. Some of you are familiar with this book, The Book of Jewish Values by Rabbi Joseph Telushkin. And again, one of my favorites. Every day there's something to think about, something that if we really think about this, we can change how we view the world and maybe even how the world functions. And this is about modeling behavior, raising your child to be a mensch. And so I just want to share this. If children were born generous, you might enter a house and find a mother yelling at her 3-year-old son, "Johnny, stop giving all your toys away to the other children in the neighborhood." In truth, most children are born with a healthy streak of selfishness and have to be taught and trained to share. This training works most effectively when the teaching and practice of giving money or possessions away to those who need them is consistent. As an influential 16th century work of Jewish ethics teaches, a person who gives 1,000 gold pieces to a worthy person is not as generous as one who gives 1,000 gold pieces on 1,000 different occasions, each to a worthy cause. One technique used by some parents to train their children to give is to keep a tzedakah box in the house and insert coins in it just before lighting the Shabbat candles. Since Jewish tradition prohibits the use of money on the Sabbath, it is a powerful lesson to children that one's last use of funds before the holy day is for tzedakah, for someone else. And Danny Siegel, who was our scholar in residence a couple of years ago, also taught us that one of the best places for a tzedakah box is in the laundry room, because everybody checks the pockets of their clothing before they put the clothing into the washing machine. And if you didn't know it was there, you still wouldn't know it was there if you put it right in. So you take it out of the pocket, put it in the tzedakah box. You didn't know it was there anyway, and you'll help somebody else. Anyway, so to continue very briefly, as children get older, their training in tzedakah should intensify. It is a wonderful idea to encourage children celebrating becoming a bar or bat mitzvah to give 10% of the money they receive in gifts to charity. I know that was an obligation of mine. I learned that it was an obligation of mine when I became a bar mitzvah. I don't know that I would have chosen it, but it was certainly a memorable moment. Given that the bar mitzvah and the bat mitzvah symbolize a child's joining the adult Jewish community, what better way to begin this process than by encouraging him or her to choose a personal cause or causes to which the money should be donated. Follow these suggestions and your child's bar or bat mitzvah and their growing to adulthood in general won't just be a celebration for your family and friends, but also a cause for the whole community to rejoice. I remember some of the saddest times in our family being some of the saddest moments that happened to our family being some of the most joyous times, simply because of the people who would come over and help and do and cook and clean and share. And boy, what a great way to model behavior. Our children know and understand what's important by watching what their parents do and how their parents treat whatever it is they're planning, whether it's a trip to the bank, which is something you just got to fit in when you can, or helping someone who has suffered a loss, which is something you don't just do on the fly. You make it happen and you put thought into it and you make it even more meaningful. So, Yasher Koach, Kol HaKavod, for all of you who are part of our caring community team. Of course, many of you have heard me say all the time that every single member of our congregation is technically part of our caring community, but some of you go up above and beyond and step up to really take on great responsibility to make sure that it happens. And for all of you who do all of this sacred work, I offer this special threefold benediction from our Torah. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and guard you and care for you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's countenance always shine graciously upon you and in front of you, leading you on your way. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the presence of God always lead you to a life of fulfillment, of contentment, of wholeness, of peace. Ken Yehiratzon, may it be God's will. Thanks to all of you, and thank you, Anne, for doing such spectacular work of making sure that our carers have ways to care and connections and are matched up so well, because you're doing such wonderful things for our community. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Would you be kind enough to read?
Sure, I'd be honored.
I guess you don't need that.
Oh, this is Bill Schneider. I wanted to attend the service. I got up late. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm thankful for Anne.
Welcome,
She's
Bill.
given me calls.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. Thank you so much for being here, Bill, and thank you for what you were going to say. If you want to continue, you can say more nice things about Anne.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Anne for, I got up late. I'd like to thank Anne for helping me. She's given me some calls, and I'm working on some serious issues, and but she's been helpful. I'm sorry I missed the service. I like the caring community.
Thank you, Bill. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to you too. Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim. I know I went with the full kiddush for the meal instead of the one for the morning, but some of us are going to eat, so I apologize for praising God more.
We do have a meal ready. Oh, okay.
Like I say, on Friday night we have 2 collars and 1 cover, and on Saturday we have 1 collar and 2 covers. Home baked by Korean Heartland.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. B'tei avon. And thank you all for being here.
Thank you also for the beautiful readings and those of you who helped share them. And boy, that one that Carol read, the boy, the Bashel Silverstein one, that gets me every time.
And in the other room, there's a hall breakfast.
Oh, how lovely.
Well, I
That's
guess we'll
very nice.
do this and then we'll go in
There's a
there.
little
Is that okay?
appetizer.
Exactly,
Right,
a little
on there.
appetizer.